An all-new season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Mom Talk has just been blowing up.
Whitney and Jen are on Dancing with the Stars.
Taylor is a bachelorette.
Saying that out loud is crazy. Like, that is huge.
But all the cool opportunities could pull us apart.
It's causing issues in everyone's marriage.
My whole world is falling apart right now. It's chaos.
Watch the Hulu original series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Welcome back to I Want That Too, the podcast where Disney merch meets Disney history. I'm entertainment writer Jim Hill, and as always, I'm joined by the lovely but exhausted Lauren Hersey.
Yes, and cold. It is snowing back here, which is a cruel, cruel joke from Mother Nature. Still sunny and beautiful out on the other coast.
Yes, where Lauren and family spent 9 days. Is that? Did I get that right? You were out west for 9 days?
Yes.
In Southern California and Vegas, baby. Vegas! And by the way, I actually joined Lauren and the family out there for the last couple of days of the trip. But, while we were all out west, and even before that, Lauren was gathering all sorts of information about some really amazing merch, right?
Yes. So the goal was to get out to California before the 70th was over. Just a really, really nice visit and beautiful weather.
Yeah. I mean, and in fact, the weather continues today. In fact, it's somewhat ironic. I'm making my visit to Disneyland and DCA today. In fact, with Mr. Schul. And today it's supposed to reach 100 degrees.
No, it's not.
Yes. So beautiful weather for both wandering around and cooking.
Yeah, you are cooking.
Yeah, there we go. So.
Put you on a spit. Do you have any little sneak peeks as to what you and Mr. Schul are working on today?
Well, to be honest, this is something for our Patreon subscribers. This is walking around the park, checking out the latest new stuff. And what a surprise. It will involve Bluey. But yeah, he and I will be there probably as of 11 this morning, and also are going to make an effort to wander through downtown Disney because that shopping, dining, and retail district has undergone some pretty impressive changes over the past couple of years.
Oh my goodness. And wait till if you've not seen it yet, it is blown up. It reminds me of the walls that were at Epcot for years, but it's going to be nice.
Yeah, when it's done in a couple of years. So, but anyway, that's in the future. Today, we're all going to benefit from, Lauren basically seeming to visit every store at the Disneyland Resort and a bunch of them at Universal as well. So why don't we get started with that? But before we do that, I want to acknowledge our sponsor, which of course, is unlockmagic.com. This episode of I Want That is brought to you by our friends at unlockmagic.com, the go-to place for some of the best deals on theme park tickets. If a Disney or Universal trip is anywhere on your radar in 2026, Unlock Magic helps you log in great ticket prices without the stress, all handled by people who really know the parks and how to save money. So if you're starting to think, okay, maybe this is the year we finally go, head to unlockmagic.com to grab the best ticket deals and make that future trip just a little more magical.
All right, Jim, are you ready for this merch madness?
Oh, wow, that's good. That's good. We need to remember to do that going forward. Merch madness. I love that. Okay, yes. Talk to me about the 70th.
All right, so like I said, we were out at Disneyland for the 70th specifically. So I feel like it's only fitting to start there. So one of the things that was happening for the 70th that I've not ever had a chance to witness is the Paint the Night parade. And I've never got to see the fireworks because of whatever was happening with the weather last time. Well, spoiler alert real quick, no fireworks the entire time we were there because of the Santa Ana winds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So maybe in August. I do have to say that I did witness Tapestry of Happiness, which was right before Paint the Night, and it was fantastic. I want that to be my ringtone. I'm obsessed. But anyways, something I'm not obsessed about is if you keep thumbing through the archives that I sent you, did you see these Small World sweater, like jacket? There's a sweater and a jacket, a sweatshirt, I'm sorry. I just have to call these out. It's literally a Small World. They're beautiful. It's teal and one is light pink. That sweatshirt, it is a crew neck sweatshirt, is $130. I think that was the most expensive sweatshirt. Even anybody that went to California in March and did not pack wisely, did not pack a sweatshirt or jacket, everybody has that black, thick, Disneyland hoodie on. It's $90. This sweatshirt is $130.
That's a little crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not all bad. It's not all bad deals around here. So going back to the 70th, and this is what I want you to keep your eyes peeled for, because the 70th is in Disney's eyes winding down. I know we still got a long runway left to go, but this is the only reason I can think that they had quite some 70th sales going on, like 40% off. And that feels like a lot for Disney. 40% off for their 70th merch?
Well, again, remember, we are in March, and, let's be honest, when the summer crowds arrive, they would like the 70th stuff to be cleared out. So all of the whether it's the t-shirts, the polo shirts, the hats, the coffee mugs that say 2026 rather than 2025 are off the shelf. So this is the time you do this. And also, let's remember, Disneyland, a key difference between Disneyland and Walt Disney World is a destination resort that the world travels to, whereas Disneyland, Lauren, if we're being completely honest, is the world's most famous regional theme park. And, the people who typically go there are locals. In fact, 70% of the folks through the front gate are people who've driven in from 100 miles away. So,
I'll get to that. I will get to that. I have thoughts about our local friends.
Okay. All right. Continue on then. All right.
All right. So the biggest score that we got as a part of the sale price was we did pick up one of the keys to Disneyland. And this is not new. So Eric was like, don't get on the podcast and act like this is the greatest thing because it's new. And I'm like, it's the greatest thing for us because it was $20 off. So it was $40 opposed to $60. And if you're not familiar with the keys to the key to Disneyland, or it's just been a minute because they've been out a while, you could basically go to any shop. This is just Disneyland proper, and you can pick yourself up one of these large keys, which would be probably about the size, maybe from my chest to the top of my head, a couple feet long. So it's not, real small by any stretch, but the activity that goes along with this is that there are 9 lands at Disneyland, and you kind of go on a scavenger hunt around to each one of the 9 lands. You put your key in, the display does something fabulous, and then your light for that land is now represented on your key. So once you have 9 lights complete, then a mystery compartment opens up in the key, and you get a mystery pin for the 70th. And there are, as you can guess, there are 9 pins that feature a different Disneyland land. And then there was one special pin that we found out about that was the Disneyland D, and it just had a little key. Did I tell you about what happened with this pin?
Yes, you did, but you have to tell this story as part of the show. I mean, especially given Miles' sort of,
Yes, so you hear me talk about him all the time. Miles is my 8, now 9-year-old. He had a birthday while we were at the park, and that is what led to him getting the key to Disneyland. And he's a big pin collector, like we've talked about before. And so he goes through the activities, and it was such a lovely experience as a family. We get to the end of the thing, and he opens up the key, and it's the D with the little key, and he's thrilled. He's like, Mom, look how amazing this is. This is great, right? Well, he's schlepping this giant key around the park now. And so he's carrying his keys, carrying his, his pen. And we get to one of the shops, and he sees a display of all of the pens, and he's pissed. Point blank pissed. He's like, why didn't I get a key with, or why didn't I get a pin that had a land on it? It's like, I got robbed. And the lady overheard him, and she was like, wait, let me see that. And so he shows the pin, and she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, that is, like, she's laughing because she's like, that is the, like, ultra rare pin that like everybody is trying to get their hands on. And I kid you not, she said that a woman just came in and bought 20 of those keys for a chance to get that pin that Miles got.
Well, what I loved about this is, I come in at the tail end of this story, and by then, Miles had already been on eBay and found out that the pins on the secondary market were going for $400 to $450.
And he's like, I'm going to be rich.
There we go. So I love him going from I got gypped to I'm going to be rich. That's a fun vacation experience.
Yes, and I did have another pin-related note that I thought was really nice. I wanted to get your opinion on it. So, like I said, it's his birthday. He's a pin boy. I wanted to get him a 70th pin to commemorate the occasion. So I go into Star Traders, and they had like a mystery pack. So I had like a mystery pack of 2 70th pins. And as I'm checking out, the woman says, for today only, if you keep your receipt, you can open your pins, you could walk across the way, by kind of like by Star Tours, and there's a woman sitting up there with pins. Take her your receipt, and you can trade a pin one time today with your receipt.
Wow. Okay. And Miles is the pin collector in the family, right? So, wow. Okay. So did we actually trade? And if so, what did we get?
We did trade. It was an old one.
Mhm.
So like I was under the impression, like, because I'm thinking why this is happening, and I would say people are like trying to collect them all, and so maybe Disney is like, all right, people, like you don't need to give us all your money, literally. Like we will let you get that one pin that you've been after. But of course, Miles, I don't even think you picked the 70th one. But I just thought that it was very, very interesting for one day only. If you bought this pack specifically, you could go over here and trade where no one else could.
Wow. Okay. No, that's interesting that they were doing that at the park. And again, I can't help but read into it to the effect of, again, we're trying to clear out as much of the 70 merch as we can. And by the way, we haven't even really scratched the surface of what Lauren and family saw during their trip to Anaheim. But before we continue on here, we're going to take a quick break. But when we get back, we have some Mickey Mouse Club related stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. I have to ask you about that.
Okay. But first, there's this.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
And we're back. So, okay, just to recap, folks, Lauren was sharing about a number of the bargains she found at Disneyland as they're winding down their 70th anniversary. But this one, I don't know as we would necessarily call it a bargain, because didn't it have a $250 price point?
Oh, are we talking about the big key? I forgot about the big key. So we did just talk about the key and the pin or whatever. And if you were really adventurous, you could get your hands on a giant key to Disneyland for $250. And you could get that at the World of Disney. I can't imagine shopping that one around. But there was that, and I'm going to get to the Mouseketeer because I'm sure you have some really great stories. But I want to give you one little life hack first. Jim, I'm going to show you 2 pictures, and I want you to tell me what you think the difference is. So there's this picture of this hat. And for the black hat, it has an embroidered Disneyland D on it. And then can you look at this hat and tell me?
Okay, so we've gone from the D to a raised Disneyland. But again, both are fairly discreet, aren't they? I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I guess in that case, it's a situation where if you're a Disney fan, but, you don't necessarily want to let the entire world know, is that what's going on there?
No, this is my greatest hack. I'm so excited to share it. Okay, so this Disneyland hat with the words Disneyland embroidered, it is $79.99. I'm showing Jim that picture. The one that I just showed you right here with the embroidered D is $17.99. And I'm like, this whole time, I'm like, what is wrong with this hat? I hit the lottery. They just gave me an $80 hat. They don't even know, right? So it's towards the last day. We're at the World of Disney, and I see this wall of we've talked about them on the show before, the create your own headbands. And now they have a line for the 70th. So they have a black headband, and then underneath there's this black hat. And I'm like, wasn't that weird? Like, why would they put that hat there? Like, maybe those little things are magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've showed you Sorcerer Mickey you can put on it. They have this nice bow that you could put on it. And by golly, Jim, those have holes in the top, and you can add your favorite Disney character to the top of your hat.
Okay.
I would not, but you could.
Yeah, all right. That is an interesting choice. Wow.
Jim, it blew my entire mind. Get the $17 hat. Run to Disney and get yourself the $17 embroidered hat.
Okay.
They're not thinking that people aren't going to wear them with these. I mean, obviously I bought one. Okay, let's talk Mouseketeers.
Mm-hmm.
Eric needs to know about this giant guitar.
Well, what's interesting about that guitar, and in fact, does it actually have the name Mouse Guitar on it?
Yes.
Okay.
It is Mouse Guitar.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Back in the day, when the Mattel Corporation was just a teeny tiny operation getting itself up out of the ground, and more to the point, the Mickey Mouse Club was just getting started. The very first product that Mattel made that caught fire was the Mouse Guitar. It had a little crank on the side of it, and it played the Mickey Mouse Club theme, and it broke through in a big way because the show was a hit right out of the gate. And if you love your Barbie and you love your Hot Wheels, this is the thing that made that possible. That without the success of the Mouse Guitar offered by Mattel, none of that would have happened. So it's kind of nice that, as both a tribute to the show, which again also celebrating its 70th, we also get a nod to this ridiculously successful product that helped turn Mattel into the giant it is today. And by the way, Mattel is building a theme park too, coming up out of the ground in the next year or so.
What? And we're going to talk about Vegas here in a minute. Maybe that's a precursor.
Yes, where the pop-up that you and Lainey and Miles went to.
Yes. All right, but back to the Mouseketeer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I need to know about this little gem. For those who are not seeing, it looks like a little Dolly Parton dressed up like a Mouseketeer.
Well, yeah, that. And in fact, what's interesting is that
she has the guitar.
There we go. But what's interesting is she is wearing the outfit from Talent Roundup Day. Every day on the Mickey Mouse Club had a theme, and on Talent Roundup Day, that's when a particularly a young person would come on the show, and they would show that they're good at swinging a lariat or that sort of thing. But it's fun that that's the doll they decided to do with the hat and the little tassels off of the outfit. I mean, it's a really nice doll, don't you think?
Oh, I thought it was adorable. And I was like, Jim has a story. It was $99. And then last Jim story that I did not know what this was, but I knew you would. Mm-hmm. It looks like a conductor hat. It's made of gold sequins.
Well, I don't know if that's a tribute to Vesey, who was Disneyland's first the marching band conductor there. I mean, dear Lord, Vesey, like so many folks at Disneyland, started with a 2-week-long contract. It's just the notion of, hey, can you show up in July? And, we're opening this thing out in the orange groves of Anaheim. And for 2 weeks, we only need you for 2 weeks. And I want to say that Vesey actually retired from the company in the 70s. I mean, it was just one of these things that 2 weeks became, a 20-year career. And they came out for everything. Every time a dignitary or a celebrity came out, Vesey and the Disneyland Band would march down Main Street, USA. So it is kind of nice as part of the 70s that, or the 70th anniversary, that everyone, at least for a moment, by buying that hat and put it on, gets to be Vesey for a little bit.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was definitely a choice. All right. 2 more Disneyland items, and then we will move on to the rest of our adventure.
Mm-hmm.
What you'll see maybe today, I don't know if you plan on going to DCA, but I really was expecting some merch. I've been thinking about you and Humphrey. I went over to the Grand Californian to the spa, walked by Storytellers. I think that's where Humphrey is. And thought about you. And so I was expecting to go to DCA and there be merch.
Yep.
There was really not. Here's a sweatshirt and they had a really nice soft t-shirt. But as far as a big display or anything goes for DCA, it was not.
Well, again, remember the actual 25th anniversary was back in January, I want to say, or was it February?
But don't they celebrate all year?
Well, they do, but at the same time, what's interesting is that, California Adventure is still kind of the redheaded stepchild. It's worth noting that, if you think about the, Avengers Affinity Force and the Coco ride that's being installed there, this is a park where they're still putting attractions of size in because there's a feeling that it's not quite as good as its older brother across the way. On the other hand, there are supposedly some interesting bits of merch being sold at DC. In fact, you mentioned going into the hotel, the Grand Californian. I actually today, when Shul and I are in the park, on behalf of my daughter's stepdad, I'm headed in there to seek out, I guess there's a limited edition set of mouse ears that are themed to Chip and Dale. That I'm supposed to be picking up for him for another friend of his that's collecting. So, I will wander in there and see if the Humphrey situation has changed since you were in there just last week.
All right. Actually, I totally lied. I have one more.
Okay.
And I just have to throw this one out there because I feel like our collectors, I feel like the people that listen to the show are our people. And I know you saw these in person, Jim, but not everybody gets to.
Okay.
These are Disney Racer collectibles. Just to remind you, this is Space Mountain as a Hot Wheel car. And then we have the monorail as a Hot Wheel car.
Yeah.
Do you remember me showing you this?
Yeah.
There's Mickey. I think this is maybe Mr. Toad. They are ridiculous, but so cool. I think they're cool. So, obviously now we are starting a collection.
Well, speaking of Disney and cars, I don't know if you saw just this morning, news broke about the Disney F1 promotion that's been going on, the Fuel the Magic, that according to Licensing Magazine, it's been so successful, they're expanding the program. So I'm just warning you, Lauren, you should expect to see even more horrible, misshapen collectible cars turning up very soon.
Shut up!
But just today the news broke.
You guys, seriously, I think I'm actually going to get on the Patreon and I will do a haul for anybody that's interested in seeing all the merch that we got. But you have got to see these cars. So, anywho, we got to move on. We got to head on down the road to our very first visit at Universal Studios Hollywood, and I have a funnish story that led me to the place that Walt passed away.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that is true. That is true. But before we launch into that, I did want, it's sort of a Disney adjacent story that we encountered at Universal. And, listeners to the show will recall what were the characters that people could put on their shoulders you were so excited about back in the day, the Disney characters?
Oh, well, the original ones were the Banshees
Yeah,
in Animal
you are
Kingdom.
right.
That was the very first shoulder
Mhm.
pal. And then we had a Porg
Yeah, we
about a
go.
decade ago.
Okay.
So they've evolved.
Okay,
We'll
no,
say
they,
that.
they absolutely have evolved. But the reason we're bringing this up is on April 1st, the Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out. And what the Universal Parks have done as part of their promotion for this Illumination Pictures release is that they've created Lumas, which I guess are a character from the Super Mario, the little star-shaped characters that glow and interact. But anyway, they've created Lumas that can sit on your shoulder, and I want to say there was a blue and a yellow one. Do you remember that?
Yes, and they were so cute. I didn't know what a Luma was. I don't know if I was supposed to know, but they are blue and yellow. They're winking.
Well, that's the thing. They ride on your shoulder, and what's interesting. There we go. If you wear your Luma and somebody else in the park who also has a Luma gets within a certain, a certain footage of you, the Lumas start to interact. They chitter, they light up. What I thought was intriguing about this is that here's Universal taking an idea that Disney had a few years ago and stepping it up and in tying it directly into, the Super Mario universe. And by the way, they're anticipating that Super Mario Galaxy, when it opens in theaters, tail end of this month, is going to do huge business. They're already projecting, Lauren, that just in North America alone, over its opening weekend, it's going to make $150 million. It will be the highest grossing film of the year to date over its opening weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't disagree. I think that it is going to. It's gonna, you use the words, blot out the sun of everything else in its surroundings. And I think those people were, all those Mario people that were excited were also at the park. And you went in, did you get the Yoshi cupcake at Super Nintendo World?
To be honest, I only got into Super Nintendo World late on the 12th. In fact, just to sort of, it's a little fun button on my visit to the park. The 12th was my 67th birthday. And I thought, also as part of the Super Mario Galaxy thing, they had advertised that they were doing a brand new cupcake. In fact, that was also as part of Yoshi coming into the park. And I figured, and I'm having this lovely time with the Hershey's, I think my first time seeing Waterworld, and, we're having a great time. And so, as a group, we go down the hill and we're in Super Nintendo World. And I figure I'm just going to get the cupcake so I can say I had the brand new Yoshi cake for my birthday. And I go to step into the Toadstool Cafe, and then suddenly, things go sideways very quickly. It's one of these things where it's 5:30. The park is closing at 6. And I just step up to the gentleman at the door with his iPad. And it's like, hi, I'm going to go in and get the cupcake. And do you have a reservation? And it's like, for the cupcake? This is not a major transaction. I'm just here for the cupcake, pal. And it's like, well, no, I can't let you in unless you have a reservation to Toadstool Cafe. And then I can literally look past him, and there's nobody in line in front of me. And it's one of these things where it's like, really? And it's like, yes, this is a very popular restaurant, and it's like, oh, okay, no cupcake for Jim. So, but I hear it's lovely. It's got blue icing. It's got cheesecake inside of a cupcake. It sounds like it was lovely, but no cheesecake.
Oh my gosh, is that the one we got? Was it Rosalina? It was a girl.
Well, there we go. Okay, now then you can speak.
It wasn't even good. It was terrible.
Oh, well, okay. So, well, there we go. Great. We've now managed to offend a lot of people at Universal.
I was teasing.
Okay.
Was that terrible?
All right. Well, anyway, folks, we got to sneak another ad in here. So let's do that. But when we get back, we'll talk more about Universal and Vegas, baby, Vegas. But first, this.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
And we're back. So we were just getting started with Lauren talking about what she saw at Universal Studios Hollywood, which, again, as she stressed, very first time the Hersey family has been in this classic Southern California attraction.
Yeah, and I mean, Universal, to me, there are definitely things that Universal is stronger at, but merch is not one. Not, just the way that I would say, well, Disney World's merch is better than Disneyland, but Disneyland has the edge on snacks. And so, everybody has their strength. We'll just say that. But I did get a couple shirts. They did have an ET top. I got the classic Hollywood. But the couple things that I wanted to bring up is that we had 2-day passes for Hollywood, Universal Hollywood, and I ended up finding myself in the urgent care while we were out there.
Yeah.
And yes, after the fact, Jim knows what happened to me. I don't know exactly what happened, but I had a very bad allergic reaction after I went to the spa at Disneyland. And I'm not saying that the allergic reaction happened at the spa. It could have happened anytime that we're after. But anyways, nonetheless, I did not get to go to the park that first day and found out after the fact. I did think it was odd when I walked into the lobby that it did say the Walt Disney lobby. I was like, where am I? But anywho, so I did want to shout out our friend Ashley for being such a sweetheart and knowing that I was sick and struggling. And she also brought us some amazing merch, some studio. I don't know, Jim, can you see this amazing Awala bottle?
Okay.
This is one of those bottles that have the the multiple straw situations. I know I've told you about these before. But I was so thrilled. I was almost to tears. But here are these Burbank ears I'm showing you.
That's so sweet.
So thank you for being so sweet to my family and I while I was dealing with a more than challenging time. But the coolest thing that she showed me while we were out there was, did you know in Universal City Walk in Hollywood that there is essentially a character warehouse for Universal, 70% off?
No. Wow. Okay. Is that a new development or is this something we're just learning about?
Don't know. So we were leaving and I was, I never really got back to 100%. So we're like, I got to get to bed. And she's like, wait, I got to show you one more thing. And it was just tucked away in a corner somewhere. It's called Take Two. And to give you some context, at Universal, they do sell pins and shirts and a lot of Wicked. You could get the Grimmery, the Grimmery Loungefly. It was very cool. But Miles got a pin and it was literally less than $3.
Wow.
Yes. So if you're ever out in Hollywood and have a chance to check it out, it was a big store too.
Okay. So Take Two. Okay. I'm going to tuck that away and see if I can get there this trip. I mean, my problem is I'm in the waning days of my own visit out here. But did manage to finally get to the Academy Museum, something I've been trying to get to forever. But all right, we'll put that on the list too.
I'll add it to the list.
Now, something else I guess we should mention, because both of us made a point of going in to check this out, because they are in the process of finaling construction of that theme park's brand new super deluxe crazy coaster, Fast and Furious Supercharged. And we saw that the door was open for the gift shop. So, Lauren and I quickly scurry inside because we thought, oh, cool, we'll get to see the early merch for this new ride. And it's like, well, no, I mean, the shop is open, but the stores, the shelves were lined with some pretty generic, fairly representative of the whole park. I want to say there were like E.T. things in there, and there were Jaws things in there, and a couple of Fast and Furious items, but nothing tied to the ride yet. Just kind of felt like, let's get the store open, let's train the staff, but, we'll bring in the real merch, as we get close. Well, hell, when they actually begin previewing the ride, that's probably when the real merch will go in.
All right. Speaking of real merch, fast forward to the last leg of our trip to Vegas, and you and Eric and Hunter had a chance to check out Universal Horror Unleashed.
Yes. And interesting little bend on that story. I mean, your husband and I will be talking in fact, we've already recorded the show. It might actually go up later this week. But merch-wise, when it came to Universal Horror Unleashed, they literally, you again, classic theme park. You exit through the gift shop, but the interesting thing is you could not buy merch and then go back into Universal Horror Unleashed. In fact, I bought a refrigerator magnet, just to throw up on the fridge at home. And it's the logo on top of a poker chip. Beautiful for Vegas. So I, take my bag and go to walk back in to hang out with Hunter and Eric. And it's like, no. Here, hand this back to us, and, we'll put your name on it. And when you're ready to actually leave, we will give it to you. So just wonder what that's about. Why you're not allowed to bring merch back into the building.
I think what if you hit somebody with it? What if you jump scare and knock them over the head with your poker chip?
Okay. I don't know how much damage I could do with a refrigerator magnet, but...
I mean, what if you bought that? What if it was a bust or something? What if it was something really elegant?
I'm not John Wick, Lauren. And speaking of which, that was the other thing that was fascinating about Area 15 is that, and that's where Universal Horror Unleashed it has been built. I mean, there's the John Wick attraction there. There's Meow Wolf, and you and Lainey and Miles. I think we mentioned this earlier in today's show. Got to do the Magic of Barbie pop up there.
Yeah, it was Malibu Barbie Cafe pop-up. It was there for the month of March. So if you're back in that area of Area 15, you can't miss it because it's a big pink building. But it was total surprise. We just wandered in, which is now all starting to make sense if you're saying that there is a theme park coming. But to just give you a little bit of the context with this, there was a flat price for the ticket to go into the cafe, and then each person got $10 in a food credit and a $5 merch credit per person. They had a small cafe menu, like Miles got a make your own ice cream sundae, and Lainey and I got make your own cupcakes. But they had lots of different photo ops and cute, very, very cute theming. Lots of Barbie girls dressed up there. And then the finale of that was that they did have a Malibu Barbie skating rink set up. And so you got to also go and partake in that. Do you think that is a coincidence, or do you think that that is, please come and try our Barbie thing so that...
I don't honestly know what to tell you. I mean, I do know, for example, at the, when I went to the Academy Museum yesterday, one of the exhibits there was the production designer for the Barbie movie. And what was interesting is this woman had not only done the Barbie movie, but she had also done Disney's live action version of Beauty and the Beast and the recent version of Anna Karenina. All of these separate rooms showing the process that went into it. But I think the thing that you, and I know Lainey would have loved this, but just outside of the entrance to the exhibit space, they had, a photo op with Barbie's pink roadster. So you could get your picture taken behind the wheel of Barbie's pink roadster. But, all right. Well, I have to also say this. I get now why all of my friends who work in themed entertainment, when we bring up Area 15, just blither. There is so much cutting edge stuff going on in this corner of Vegas that it really is worth checking out, folks. If you haven't done it yet, the next time you're in Vegas, carve out some time to get over to, to this part, because between Meow Wolf and Horror Unleashed and again, things like the Barbie pop-up, it was a pretty fun time. But again, the thing is that Lauren and I had a very ambitious schedule here, and the very next day we make our way over to the Sphere to check out the Wizard of Oz, which had a giant retail program, didn't it?
Yes, they did. I mean, if you wanted anything with the Wizard of Oz or the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, they had, I think, 3 floors and 5 different kiosks set up with merch. The most interesting things, I mean, they had like the red sequin like jacket, not shoes, that, it was very eye-catching. But, I mean, very largely Wizard of Oz, very, very teeny, teeny, tiny at the Sphere. So I don't know how well their merch did. You would think for the price of the tickets that, like, if people were willing to spend that to see an old movie, that they would want to buy something. But I buy everything, and I didn't buy anything.
Well, again, I did the exact same thing I did with, for Universal Horror Unleashed. I sprang for the refrigerator magnet, and I deliberately looked for one that said both the Wizard of Oz the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. I did. Well, I want to be sure to share what you noticed about when we entered and were down in the lower lobby with, doing the shopping thing, and you picked up immediately on, the color design.
Yeah, I mean, so when you go in, everything is black and white, and that brown like sepia color.
Sepia tone. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, I bet you when we come out here, it's going to be all the vibrant colors. I was close. It was all green, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And also worth noting that the souvenir that I know that Miles really wanted the souvenir from the Sphere. He wanted an apple, the one of the apples that would fall out of the sky. We were just seated in the wrong part of the Sphere. We saw all of the apples fall. In fact, what was interesting is we saw apples actually fall into empty parts of the theater and watch people get out of their seats and scramble to get them. But
he got to leave. He'll be all right.
More to the point, he can take some of his $400 to $450 pin money and spend that on an apple from the Sphere, which, by the way, the last time I looked online, we're going for $40 a piece.
That is so wild. But all right, Jim, it was a jam-packed merch episode. But on that note, I think it's time we close up shop for today.
Ms. Hersey is correct. So, but if you want to keep up on everything happening across the Jim Hill Media Podcast, follow us on social, and don't forget to check out our Patreon for bonus shows and early access.
Yes, if you have questions, ideas for future episodes, we absolutely love to hear from you. So shoot us a message. Jim can be found at jim@jimhillmedia.com, and I'm at laurenhersey.com.
Cool. And if you like the show, folks, leave us a quick rating or review. It helps other Disney fans find I Want That Too.
All right, Jim. That does it for another episode of I Want That Too. Thanks for listening.